Welcome back, witches, to Books and Running with Fish. Today we're going to go over the series I want to start, series I want to continue, and series I must get finished this year. I love me a good series, but I'm also a mood reader, so I tend to start to get obsessed with the series, put it down, and then don't pick up the second one for months or years. This is like a desired TBR for when the mood strikes. So get your coffee, let's cozy up together as we talk about some series we want to start, continue, and finish in 2026. The first one would be the Crave series by Tracy Wolff. This feels like a commitment series for me. At a very high level, this is a normal fantasy series about a supernatural boarding school that has like vampires, witches, werewolves, the lot. I think it's going to lean a little bit heavier into romance than maybe I would typically want in a fantasy series, but still have some of the very high fantasy stakes. So as long as that is balanced and done right, I think it can work really well. I've known about this series for years. It's long, and from what I've seen, people either love it or hate it. That's honestly probably one of the reasons I put it off. It just feels, again, a really big commitment. It feels like one that once you start, you're just going to want to go barrel through. And so finding the perfect time to commit to a series like that can be a little bit difficult. However, I read quite a few series last year where I just dove in headfirst, read them all back to back, and absolutely love the experience. And it feels like this one might be the time to jump in and live in Crave World. I'm really hoping for a wild ride on this. It's the big energy, the big magic, just emotional roller coaster. This would be for one of those busy training weeks where maybe I have some super long runs and I just need to get lost in another world to forget about the pain that my coach is putting me through that day. And so maybe this would be perfect for those runs. The next one is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Oz. This feels like a comfort series pick with substance. It follows a group of retirees who get together to investigate cold case murders, but keep finding themselves mixed up in real life murders and cases. I'm hoping this is going to blend that cozy mystery, character driven humor that can be perfection. Somehow I've managed to not pick any of these up despite the cultural moment that it's having. I can be very particular about my cozy mysteries. I want them to be funny. I want them to have a purpose. I don't want them to be ridiculous just for the sake of being ridiculous. And this one feels like it's not going to be that. And that could work. It's going to be clever and humorous, not just humorous and quirky for the sake of trying to be humorous and quirky. I just feel like this is going to balance that humor and that intelligence, and that is everything that I'm looking for in a cozy mystery. This feels like a run that will be really good for a very stressful or heavy training cycle week where I just want something comforting, engaging, not emotionally draining, something to kind of just get lost in. The next book is going to be Hex by Jessica Clare. This is fully leaning into my witchy mood read side. This is a lighter paranormal romance series centered around witches and magic, playful, slightly chaotic tone that is going to focus more on character relationships rather than really intense fantasy world building. And that's okay with me. Not looking for anything with some deep lore, high fantasy epic stakes. I just want something fun, magical, doesn't take itself too seriously. Definitely a slump breaker end of week series. You finished a hard week, you finished your long run, you finished it successfully, and now you get to curl up with a perfect palate cleanser, snuggle with the husband and the dog and the cat, and just enjoy a book without too much at stake. Now we're going to go into the series I want to continue. I want to continue the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I hope I'm saying that right. This is a very reflective series centered around a small cafe where a person goes in and they can travel back in time. There's very specific rules, limitations where they can sit, like all of that. It's not necessarily about changing the past, but just kind of the emotional closure, human connection of what time travel can be. These are definitely books that make me kind of think, slow down, reflect on what I'm reading, how I feel, how it relates to the world. This is definitely going to be for times where training is definitely feeling emotional, life consuming. I want to feel more reflective about what I'm doing. The next one is one of my favorite series, the Joey Mancuso and Father O'Brien by Owen Parr. This is a very long running mystery detective series. It's following a private investigator and a priest duo solving crimes together. We got classic detective, very character driven. There is, I believe, 11 books. I've read the first 7. I absolutely love getting lost in these stories and with these characters. Most consistent series I have ever read. I feel like it's also a good one for you can read and come back to. I remember them. They're not super heavy. If you miss something from like book 1 or 2, you're not going to remember when you get to book 7 or 8, for example. These are just ones that I really enjoy spending time with the characters and the cases. This is one that I cannot wait to just when I need a book that feels consistent and good. When meeting training is feeling hard at the height of marathon training, for example, this would be a good one. You're going to have a solid series that you can consistently read through peak weeks. Now for the series that I want to finish, complete, wrap up, if you will. First one, Kitty Collins by Katie Brandt. This is a dark comedic thriller series, maybe a little cozy thriller, if you will, following a morally gray female protagonist. She's got humorous. She finds herself in all these positions with death and violence. The first one that I read just absolutely blew me away, surprised me with how much I love it. The second one has come out, and there is just no way that I'm not going to love this and just enjoy this. This is one of the books I mentioned in my 5-star 2026 predictions. I will have that link down below. It just feels like a historical moment, and I fully want to honor it. Another one is the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. I've read the first 3 because I thought it was an All Souls trilogy. However, there's a few more that have come out to add value to the world of the All Souls, of the discovery of witches. This is a paranormal fantasy. It involves witches, vampires, time travel, academia, and a slow burn romance that was actually balanced really well for the story. This is one of my comfort reads. I've read A Discovery of Witches multiple times. Since I love that world so much, why don't I figure out what the last 2 of the books had? And they've been sitting there waiting. I just want to step back into that universe and feel fully immersed. And it feels like finishing it will be deeply satisfying. Also, another excuse that if I chose, I could reread. The last one that I want to finish is the Influencer series by Amy Leah. This is a very light contemporary romance series following a set of influencers who have social media, the relationships, their personal growth with a very modern, upbeat tone. I really enjoyed the first one. It was cute, it's playful. I liked the influencer aspect. They weren't necessarily like the ideal influencer. It's a little bit more of a relatable influencer. There's 2 more in the series. Again, great palate cleanser read between some maybe these more heavier, high stakes fantasies or books we will be reading. This would be another easy, upbeat, quick series that I can get finished. That is it for my series that I want to start, continue, and finish in 2026. Some of these are comfort reads. Some of these are escapism reads. Some are just worlds that I want to dive back into. Let me know if there's any series that you want to either start, finish, or continue this year. Again, I'm always looking for new books to add to my list as if I could not possibly have enough books. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, witches.